Hey, Cheyenne. Hey, Nightshade. Hey, PH. Richard Hansen. How do you do? Anthony Tommy Tom. Michelle, bonsoir, mon ami. Yeah, more than that, Lars, more than that. You only saw the two that were still up when you checked. Uh, Liam. Pennington, Steve Pennington. What a great name, Pennington. Dobrovicher. Hello, peeps. Super user. Hello, super user. Good evening, everybody. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever it is for you. This is the Live at 5 from Kyiv. I'm Peter Alexievich. And hey, Mad Mike, how you doing, bud? Hey, Rob Walker. Hey, Joe, what do you know? You move and you leave in Jersey. Nobody leaves Jersey, Joe. I don't believe it. Hey, Darlene. Hey, Paradox of Choices. What? Thanks, Jacob. I appreciate it. Hey, Vanetta. All right, kids, let's get into it. We got a couple of things to talk about here tonight. It is Wednesday, February 21st, day 727 of Russia's war of aggression against the people of Ukraine. I'm Peter Alexievich, and we're coming to you live from Kyiv, Ukraine, where last night we had incoming 19 Shahed drones, 13 of which were shot down by territorial defense. But now here's the interesting bit. 6 of them are said to have failed to get to their targets. Now, I think that that's evidence of the new electronic warfare spoofing system that the Ukrainians are using to drive these things off of their targets and to have them come down harmlessly out in the country. And that's why we're seeing so many reports of like the entire unit just landing in a field and seeing so many reports of like the entire unit just landing in a field in Pavlivka or whatever. I think that's what's happening. Territorial Defense's interception rate on the cruise missiles was not as good last night. Only a 20% rate, 1 out of 5. They knocked out of the sky 1 out of 5 missiles. The other 4 hit their targets. All civilian infrastructure in various locations across Ukraine. I didn't see anybody unalived, thank God. I'm so sorry, everybody. I got to apologize. I put out a video today where I said it was 7 jets in 6 days. But remember, I was sick. I was really sick for 2 days. And everything was jumbled up in my head. I kept thinking today was Thursday for some reason. And I put out the video, 7 jets in 6 days. It's 4 days. It's only 4 days. 7 jets, $350 million. All the years of training and experience in those pilots, irreplaceable hardware, the loss of which compromises Russia's ability to continue to prosecute this war. It's beautiful. It's glorious. Glorious. And I hope my friends over at Ukraine Volunteers get another wing of one of those planes to make some more ornaments with. Estonia has arrested 10 people as Russian saboteurs and spies. They are accused, the crimes that they're accused of we're getting very limited information. They are supposed to have been in Estonia to create a campaign of fear and terror to inflame tensions. That's what the prosecutor's office is saying. And they have definitely been charged with allegedly breaking the car windows of prominent politicians and journalists. But there's no doubt that the FSB and the GUR have their agents everywhere. I mean, there's lots of them here in Kyiv. There's enough of them that the head of military intelligence's wife was poisoned along with most of his staff. So they're here. They're there. They're everywhere. One of them is the fucking Speaker of the House of Representatives, for Christ's sake, as far as I can tell. Lieutenant General Michael Lowe of the Air National Guard announced today that the first batch of F-16 pilots that have been trained in the United States under the auspices of the 162nd Airborne Wing of the National Guard, which I guess is where all foreign pilots get trained in the U.S., will graduate in May, which would, now he wasn't clear whether that was May 1st or May 31st, but it means that the first 4 American-trained F-16 pilots will be home in Ukraine by June. And so that's coming. The German magazine Bild is reporting that their sources in the Bundestag, which is the German parliament, the German Congress, have worked on a bill to provide Taurus missiles to Ukraine, and that we should see that bill passed in the next week, and that Taurus missiles will then be on their way to Ukraine. Thank God. Let's hope that that comes through. Let's hope that that's true. You might have seen that I did a piece, Yulia Navalny's Twitter account was suspended right after she announced that she intended to continue her husband's legacy. It has been restored. In all fairness to Musk and the Muscovites, I think it's worth mentioning that her Twitter account has been restored. So if you're interested in following Mrs. Navalny on Twitter, she's back on there. There is the most unbelievable footage. I assume most of you guys have seen it, or you've seen, my video with the still shots. But there is the most incredible video that the UAF put out of drones targeting a repair shop for heavy armored equipment, right? They fly right in the garage doors. They survey the place. You get an inventory of all the vehicles in there. There's a T-72 tank. There's a T-72 tank. There's a BMP. There's a BMP. There's an MRAP. I mean, and then they fly into that shit and blow it the fuck up. It's amazing. It's amazing video. It's incredible brinksmanship on the part of the Ukrainian drone operators. 8 vehicles in total, the repair shop itself, all of it up in smoke. Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. 33-year-old Ksenia Kavana, a resident of LA and a dual citizen of both Russia and the US, has been arrested in Russia. She went home to Russia to see her 90-year-old grandmother, likely for the last time, and was arrested and charged with treason and is facing life in prison for what I believe was a $58.16 donation to a Ukrainian nonprofit, along with some other things she said in public in support of Ukraine while home in LA. If Ballerina is here, you might be interested to know she is a ballerina, in fact, our Ksenia, and she is in trouble. She is in a lot of trouble. The State Department warning that Americans not travel to Russia has never been more important. It looks like the Russians may be collecting Americans as bargaining chips, just like with Brittany Griner, right, where they got back that arms dealer. Well, now we have this guy who lied about Hunter Biden because he works for them. The whole Hunter Biden bullshit, the whole Biden bullshit story, the whole Burisma nonsense is from a Russian FSB agent, and he's under arrest, and the Russians want him back. And so they are likely collecting Americans to trade for him. So any American that goes to Russia is jeopardizing our national security at this juncture, as well as your own freedom in life. The Russian military blogger Andrei Morozov, commonly known as MERS, who, make no mistake, was the worst of the worst. A Russian nationalist who supported the war, who, cheered on the murder of every Ukrainian in sight. This son of a bitch also, though, was not blind to reality. And he made the mistake of telling the truth on Telegram. He reported a few weeks back that the Russians had lost 16,000 men in Avdiivka since October 10th, along with 300 tanks. And reporting the truth is a problem for the Kremlin. So he came under intense pressure the last few weeks over this. And according to official sources and his own Telegram channel posts, he unalived himself last night. Now, did he? That's a great question, and we will likely never know the answer. But look, either the guy took his own life or it was taken from him. It's entirely possible it was taken from him because he said things that were critical of the Kremlin. If that's true, then that's more evidence of the kind of government that Russia has, and it's one no one wants to live under, one that can't face the truth or reality, and certainly not criticism. If it was the former, if he, in fact, had given up hope, because he was watching as his world was tearing apart at the seams, as everything he believed in, he saw exposed as lies, that's good news for all of us, frankly, because he won't be the only one. The Russians have to be waking up to the reality of their situation. And he was one who chose not to stay awake to see it through, and he ate a bullet instead. I was surprised to discover today that Lindsey Graham and I agree on something. I know, I was as shocked as you are. It may be, so apparently today, Lindsey Graham was added to the most wanted list in Russia. He's a terrorist, he's wanted for all kinds of crimes, they want Lindsey Graham now. He's a bad guy now. And that may be the nicest thing anyone has ever said about Lindsey Graham. Nicest thing I ever heard. I mean, if you want to know who you are, look at your enemies. And if you're going to have enemies in this world, the Kremlin are the worst people in the world. Those are the people you want thinking of you as the enemy. You can't be bought. You're not interested in their power, their money, or whatever other favors they'll do for you. None of that means anything to you. What you want to see is the Russian people free. What you want to see is the Ukrainian people free and out from under the thumb of these scumbag gangland bastards. And so Lindsey Graham was put on this most wanted list because he thinks that Russia is finally thinks that Russia is a terrorist state and should be designated as such by the United States. And I couldn't agree more. And let me tell you something, when you're designated as a terrorist state by the United States, your life gets real fucking hard. You're going to be poor forever because you're cut out of the world banking system. You're cut out of the world trade system. You're cut out of the world diplomatic system. Your life as a nation state you are a pariah, a complete pariah. So being labeled a state sponsor of terrorism puts them in the same category as North Korea and Iran. Puh. You want to know who you are? Look at your friends. So congratulations, Lindsey. You finally made a real enemy, an enemy worth having. 65 Russians were unalived in a HIMARS strike on a training ground in Vornovaka in Donetsk province. At least 65 Russians were unalived in that attack. It may have been more. There were at least 200 on the parade ground when the HIMARS struck. Oof. What have I been screaming about for the last 7 months, everybody? What have I been screaming about? That if we let Russia get away with what they're getting away with here, it is going to be a green light to the mullahs in Iran and the Kim regime in North Korea that they can do as they please. And that's what's happening. First, we saw North Korea send ballistic missiles to Russia, and we saw those missiles come down right here in Kyiv. And now Iran has transferred 400 missiles of the Fatah 110 class to Russia. So now we got to worry about Russian missiles, North Korean missiles, and Iranian missiles. Oh, joy. Oh, God botherers. The 58th Mechanized Brigade, south of Volodor, destroyed a large Russian column, and according to them, nothing and no one survived. If you are looking at, I forget it was U.S. Steel. I don't know if U.S. Steel is here tonight, but U.S. Steel mentioned the heavy losses that he saw reported yesterday. And apparently a great big chunk of those losses came in the destruction of this armored column south of Volodor by the 58th Mechanized Brigade yesterday. It was a big column, and I guess they just tore them apart. There was also a heavy loss of equipment and men in the Robotyne area, where an armored division, no, I say an armored division, they were in T-55 tanks, some of them. There were at least 2 T-55s on the battlefield yesterday in Robotyne, trying to take Robotyne back. Well, that didn't last long, and it didn't go well. It did not go well for them. Guys, that's what I got. That's kind of the top line stuff for today. The planes. We talked about the planes. 7 jets in 4 days. I apologize for saying it was 6 before. So, guys, if you like what I do, please like, subscribe, and share. It would be great if somebody could join the Patreon. That would be great. Big thanks to the moderator team, best moderator team on TikTok, Cheyenne, Vanetta, PT, John Williams, and Travis is here tonight. Hey, Travis. Big thanks to Lars, who does so much good around here, and Nightshade, who's got the Peter's Peeps Facebook group. Now, we are open for questions, comments, points of observation, or personal need. Anything from anybody about anything. If you are an American and you have not yet gotten Vanetta's letters to Congress, or God, if you're an American and you're in America and you have a Ukrainian church in your town, please go protest at your congressperson's office, would you? Get out there with some signs and banners. They're home for 2 weeks. Make them feel it. Oh, my supper was great, Steve. I had lunch today with Steve, TTS, DTS, STD, whatever it is. We had a very pleasant lunch. Steve is here in Kyiv this week. And I met some really interesting people with him, Andrew and Samara. And we really had a very pleasant lunch. I did anyway, Steve. I don't know about you. It's hard to get through lunch with me sometimes. Did you see the Reuters article recently regarding the lack of men and supplies? Any thoughts? I did not see that reporting in Reuters, Michael, but ammunition, I know, is a problem for the front line. It's definitely a real problem for the front line right now. Denmark is giving everything. Denmark? Is it Denmark? Is it Denmark that's transferring all their artillery? I apologize. For a second, I thought it was Norway. But with Lars around, I get Norway in my head a lot. Thank you, effing hell. And I mean, it's a labor of love. There's no doubt about it, but I do got to pay the rent, guys. I really could use some people to join the Patreon. Nobody's joined the Patreon in like 4 weeks, and a number of people have dropped. 800 drones from Canada. Good going, Canada. Love it. Thank you, Lou Manchu. You got a mustache to go with that name? Yeah, Steve, thanks for lunch. Steve bought lunch today, in point of fact. Thank you, Nightshade. I sure appreciate it. And thank you, anonymous user. That's also helpful. It's also very helpful. Thank you. Evening, Colin. I did get to meet Andrew. I am not raising money. The Patreon is just to keep me here in Kyiv providing these reports. Trump is an idiot who is in Putin's pocket, so of course he's going to say things like that. That's all there is to it. What is much more worrying is that Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, is in a position to send the Congress home when the continuing resolution to fund the American government is about to run out. That's going to have to be the critical thing that they deal with when they come back. It's not going to be the foreign aid bill, no matter how much we want it to be. And that's why it's so important. Look at, if you're an American right now and you're in the States, your congressman has an office in your town. You got a Ukrainian church in your town, or you got a Hebrew temple, or you got a pro-Palestinian organization, or a pro-Taiwanese organization, or just an anti-communist China organization. Make some noise. Get in front of these people. Drive them, make them understand that their job is on the line if they don't get this foreign aid bill done, and ideally fund the government. Don't shut the government down. I am deeply concerned that Johnson's play here is to shut the government down and to hurt the United States economy through an abnegation of duty. USA looks more... Look, there's no doubt that we have problems in the United States, that the Republicans have been compromised by our enemies. There's just no doubt about it. Now, there are a lot of real Republicans out there, right? Like genuine conservatives, not just maggots. And those genuine conservatives can retake their party. They can drive out these maggot, fanatical, fundamentalist freaks that Trump has weaponized so effectively, so that one of these idiots spent $9,000 on a bronzed pair of Trump sneakers autographed by Trump as if someday they'd be a national fucking treasure. Good. I don't want them here. If you are so willfully ignorant that you believe in Donald Trump, I don't need you here. I don't want you here. You should be shunned for the kind of idiot you are. Fuck off. Ugh. Cheyenne, I'm going to get banned again. You're not protecting me. You're not protecting me. I mean, really, I don't want to talk to these people. All they do is spout lies and stupid shit. If you are so dumb that you believe that there's no war in Ukraine, that it's all a giant hoax so that the Biden crime family can launder money, you're not a person I want to talk to. You don't understand how the world works. You don't understand anything. You don't understand the basic fact that of the of the $76 billion in aid, military aid, that we have so far sent to Ukraine, 70 billion of it stays in the United States and makes brand new weapons for us. In 38 states, the defense industry is pumping it out in overtime. Everybody I know that works at General Dynamics in Scranton has a new car. I mean, really, people. Trump is going to die in jail. Simon, because he calls them fake news because he doesn't like what they say, because they tell the truth about him. That's why. Hey, Rui. Hey, happy birthday. Your birthday's coming up, isn't it? I feel like your birthday is this week. Everybody wish Rui a happy birthday. Yeah, it's because he can't handle the truth. He's just like the Kremlin. He can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. It is so exhausting talking to them because they're not interested in facts. And I'm sorry, if you're a person that's not interested in facts, we don't have much to talk about, because I'm not going to sit there and listen to your bullshit. I'm just not. And I don't think anybody else should have to either. And we're getting to a point now where the maggots are getting treated the way that they deserve. They're being shunned by polite society. They are traitors to the United States of America. They are traitors to everything that we believe in. They have sold their souls to worship at the altar of the orange Jesus, and it is disgusting. It is a disgusting, obsequious exercise in the most debasing kind of desire to be a slave to the master. It is disgusting. And you'll notice it's exactly how Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin insist people bow and scrape to them, literally. Thank you, Larry Kemp. Lars is talking about us singing. No, we will not sing. God, that was terrible, Lars, wasn't it? It was really bad. Hey, Sharon Davies. Richard Hansen. It's scary how history repeats itself. Yes, it is. And you know why? Because the one thing that we learn from history is that we do not learn from history. Oh, that Yaroslav makes my blood pressure boil. I'm almost 100%, Anthony. Thank you. I'm feeling much better. I have been ravenous all day, though. You know, I mean, it real, you know. Hello, Finland. Thank you, PT. So, Nicola, Biden has $4.4 billion in presidential drawdown authority left. And my concern is that he is kind of rationing it for an emergency and holding it back so that Congress does its job, right? Like, he doesn't take the pressure off them to not do their job. Right. User there is talking about, I'm not sure about those numbers, but yeah, we got a bunch of cluster munitions that we can send and a bunch of other shells that we can send. And the only thing is, we want the Congress to do its job and do it right so we don't have to worry about it for the rest of the year. And then if an emergency comes up and some supplemental funding is needed, then the president would have that to draw on. I think that's why he's husbanding it so closely. Or he may need it for other places. He may want to use it suddenly in Taiwan. He may want to use it in Gaza. Right? It's hard to say. Yep, Jeff, that's what we're talking about. But I think that he's got reasons not to. The last time that the GOP pulled an October surprise, James Comey lost his job as the head of the FBI, and Hillary Clinton's career and campaign was torpedoed, and Trump got elected president. So let's hope that the Russians stay home this time, and the October surprise stays a surprise. Jeff, or Oscaris, he meant PDA, not EDA. Presidential Drawdown Authority is what he meant. Can we give North Korea food so that they would attack? The blockade in Poland is bad. It's a bad situation. Now, not only are the Polish truckers blockading the Ukrainians are blockading the Poles. They won't let any Polish goods into the country. Turnabout is fair play. Do you think NATO will come into conflict with Russia in 2024? Not if we support Ukraine and let Ukraine finish the job. Oh, Jeff is saying no, he means EDA. What's EDA, Jeff? Please don't tell me you're going to say Executive Drawdown Authority. Excess defense article. I don't know what that is, Jeff. I would have to look that up. In Spain, it's the same, farmers protesting. You fuck off, John. I was sick, man. I've been sick. They are opening a new grain delivery route through Romania. That was just announced today. I didn't have a chance to look at the details or report on it, but there is supposed to be a new route through Romania. Did you see the magistrate let the witness spy out on a bail bond? Brilliant. Yeah, but he's got an ankle bracelet. He's under GPS monitoring. He's restricted. They've got his passport. He's not leaving the country. The U.S. does not use cluster shells anymore. If they are not used, it will cost money to destroy them. Exactly. Did you see the Soviet flag on one of the tractors protesting in Poland? No, but it's not surprising. It is absurd. It is absolutely absurd. The problem is people suffer from nostalgia. You know? The good old days weren't all that good, and tomorrow ain't as bad as it seems. Who, the guy with the Soviet flag got arrested? No. Is that true? Can you get arrested in Poland for waving a Soviet flag? I won't wear my hammer and sickle shirt there. It's a joke shirt. It's a joke. And I did not bring it with me. Interesting. Can the Congress use alternative procedural tricks to get around that? Little Johnson, that's a funny name. It's a funny name for him. Although I like Moscow Mike, too. Yes, there is a procedure. I forget the name of it. There is a procedure to call a vote. And And I believe it needs a supermajority. I think it needs a 2/3 vote of Congress to call it. But I think they may have the votes. Why can't Ukraine naval drones disable a few Russian merchant ships by taking out the rudder steering? I mean, it's Bobby, they could, but there are political consequences to that. The ships won't be Russian. They'll be flying under a Liberian flag, or they'll be flying under a Turkish flag or a Philippine flag or somebody else, right? They'll be a ship of another country, and now you're causing a problem with that other country. The Ukrainians stick to military targets, brother. We keep talking about this. Military targets. It's not legal in Poland. Wow. That's fascinating. People suffer from nostalgia, and Ukrainians are unaliving. Yes, they are. Night, Nightshade. Yeah, I was really out of it for a couple days there. I do think it was food poisoning. And today is really catching up with me all of a sudden. I had a long day. I had an extended lunch with Steven and the crew, which was really very enjoyable. But then the work that I didn't get done at my extended lunch, I had to compress into the time between getting home and the live. So I have literally not stopped except to munch on some sallow since, some time ago. And since I don't have a sponsor for tonight's live, I think I'm going to call it an early night tonight. Yeah, so I'm running out of energy, guys. Yep, you're not wrong about that. I am an American, yes. Yeah. So, guys, any thanks, Bobby. I appreciate it. If you like what I do, please like, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate it. Big thank you to the moderator team, Lars and Nightshade. If anybody's got any final questions, comments, we can wrap it up then. Thanks, everybody. Make it a great day.